my name is Vlada and I hold Bachelor and Masters in Architecture. And now I'm building my studio where we focus on interior design. In today's video, I would like to talk to you for upcoming interior trends for end of this year and 2025. As someone who is working with interiors on a daily basis, I can directly see the difference between fast trends that maybe not going to be that popular in the next 1 or 2 years, but right now very hyped, or the trends that I can truly call them timeless. Let's talk about our trends, and the first one would be moving away from big overhead light towards more ambient, relaxing lighting. What I mean by ambient lighting is the use of table lamps, floor lamps, maybe wall sconces. And for example, for my projects, I always like to plan different scenarios of lighting in one space. You can see a lot of interiors or rooms that would have only one pendant light or only one lamp for the whole room. However, I feel this is such an uncomfortable way of using lighting because, of course, the task light, for example, this big light, is very important when you come to the home. Maybe you're searching for some things or you want to do some tasks like cooking or eating. But then to relax, to truly relax, you need different light scenarios and you need more ambient light. That's why I always like to plan a lot of different small lights that can be manually adjusted depending on the task that you're doing in this room. Let's take, for example, a bedroom. Of course, when you're coming into the bedroom, you want a big overhead light to search maybe some things in the wardrobe, to change your clothes, but maybe then throughout the day, you would prefer more dimmed light when you want to relax, maybe watch your TV in this room, or maybe just chat with your partner. That's why it's so important to have smaller lights that you can adjust for your needs. And I always tell my clients that it's so important to look at the light color in your light bulbs, and you always can see this when you buy a light bulb, that there is a number. And the warmth of the light is measured in Kelvin. And we have a spectrum range from warmer to colder light. And in between would be a white tone. So I always suggest to use 2700 Kelvin in the home because this is a very warm and nice light, which will allow your eyes to relax. Whereas colder light, let's say 3000 or 4000, that would be more task light, and people would use them, for example, in the offices or in the table lamp in your working desk. But for overall spaces, I really like to use 2700 kelvins for the lights, and I always recommend to everyone else. Trend number 2 would be moving away from tufted furniture towards more simpler, cleaner lines. Tufted furniture had its moment, I would say 2016, where all teenager girls wanted to have their bedrooms as a princess bedroom with this kind of the bed. However, right now, I feel this look looks a little bit old and it doesn't bring any nice feeling to your interior. And when I talk about trends, I talk about timeless trends. And the tufted furniture, definitely not a timeless trend. Tufted upholstery that is overused can create a very unpleasant visual point in your interior. Let's say this bed, for example, you can directly see this is not modern, this is out of the style, and I would say that goes back to 2010, 2015. Whereas, of course, some of the furniture brands use tufting quite nicely, and it still could be a thing to your interior and to your furniture. However, again, have a look how nicely the brands uses this method right now, which makes your furniture much more elegant, much more timeless, and exactly that's the look that we want to achieve in our interiors. We don't want to change our interior every maybe 5 to 10 years. Of course, we like to maybe decorate a little bit, but generally we want to have the feeling of timelessness in our interior. That's why I would always recommend to move towards more cleaner lines in your furniture and avoid something like that. The next trend would be such an important feature of your whole home and interior design that I feel you can't underestimate it. And the next trend would be moving away from gray flooring. I had a feeling that it was very popular maybe in 2010, 2015, this overuse of gray flooring. However, right now we're moving away from everything what is not natural because we're trying to harmonize our interior with environment, of course, the nature outside. That's why this gray flooring just looks so unnatural. And it is so important to choose a very right and correct flooring for your interior because it's going to impact your interior 100%. I always recommend to go for warmer tones. It can be light oak or darker walnut. Doesn't matter what kind of tone you want to have, if it's lighter or darker, but it definitely have to be a very warm tone. And all the gray and cold unnatural tones will just bring your whole interior down and make it looking quite cheap. And if you already have gray floors, and of course changing flooring is quite an expensive task, I can suggest you to think about a very big rug that kind of can hide this gray unnatural color and still then bring warmness to your interior. Another advice that I give my clients always when they're choosing a flooring is to aim for more bigger pieces of parquet, for example, rather than smaller, because when you have a very big parquet, it brings such a cohesive look to whole space. The less junctions you see between different parts of your flooring, the better your interior looks like. And of course, if you want to elevate your interior even on the next level, you can use different parquet patterns. For example, this one or this one. And of course, this is less budget friendly because you have to spend more hours on work, but I guarantee you the end look will not disappoint you. I used herringbone pattern in one of my projects and just look how amazing the floor looks. And that's what I tell you, be careful with your flooring because flooring essentially brings such an important character to the whole interior. Next trend would be thrifting vintage furniture. And I honestly can't be happier about this trend because, you know, it's always so nice to mix your modern furniture with some vintage furniture. And of course, it's very eco-friendly to reuse furniture. And what I mean by thrifting, of course, I don't mean something which is already maybe overused and don't look good at all, but more like vintage pieces, the pieces that would have history within it. My absolute favorite interior pieces in my home would be thrifted pieces. For example, this marble table in my living room I found on Facebook Marketplace, and I gave it to the stone cutter for them to make this marble plate more unique. And I believe it holds a history because this table was originally 70 years old. Another piece that I just adore is this Turkish antique vase that I found on an old Turkish market while I visited Turkey, and I just couldn't resist by just buying and bringing it home because this vase actually 80 years old. And the pieces, they just hold such a unique history, and to make your interior unique, it is such a nice way to balance modern furniture with some vintage thrifted pieces because those pieces will bring a history to your interior, whereas modern pieces would highlight your interior taste. And only having this perfect blend between old and new, you can achieve a very specific, unique feeling of your home. Our last trend that I would like to talk to you about today is mixing different wood colors. And I get a lot of questions from my clients that maybe already have a furniture piece and they want all their furniture to be exactly the same wood color as the piece that they already have. Whereas I always try to guide them to the direction of trying different wood colors because you can imagine, as in the wood, we always have different kind of trees that blending and mixing together, creating this vibrant and very nice environment. And I believe this goes the same for your home. When you have the whole wood exactly the same color, it makes somehow your interior a bit boring and not that visually interesting as by using different wood tones. My advice for choosing wood for your home would be always going from the main wood tone that you have, and of course that would be your flooring, and then go for different tones which would be more like an accent tones for your wood. Then it will create such a nice and blending environment in your interior. And what we're trying to do with interior design is create a very interesting visual moment for you, for your eye to wander around the room, the interior, the space. And to not make your interior boring, I would suggest you to try using different wood colors because you can see the difference between this interior, let's say, and this interior. But my general advice to you would be just to try different trends, just to try different movement and to see what stuck to you, what calling to you, because essentially your interior have to be unique for you. It has to have meaning for you. That's why it's so important just not to be afraid to try different things and see what is suitable just for you. So let's summarize our trends. The first would be moving away from big overhead lights toward dimmed and ambient lighting. Second one would be moving away from tufted furniture. Third one would be moving away from gray flooring towards warmer tones. The fourth trend would be thrifted vintage furniture, and the trend number 5 would be mixing different wood tones. If today's episode was useful for you, I encourage you to go to comments and leave your opinion about the trends. Maybe you have another trend in the mind that I skipped, or maybe I can discuss in the next episode. Also, I have Instagram and TikTok where you're all welcome to subscribe and see my interior journey from there. Bye bye!